Right. Hi, my name is Aysia Gilbert. That's A-Y-S-I-A. I am here with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. I'm here with Miss Tamara Leggett. Could you please spell that for the record?
T-A-M-A-R-A-L-E-G-G-E-T-T.
All right. Could you tell us a little bit about your son, Hunter?
Yes, my son, Hunter Brittain, he was a loving, caring, young, respectful young man. He was the type of person that when you met him, that you instantly liked him, and then, he's one that you would never forget. Mm-hmm. He had love for hot rods, for cars, for bikes, four-wheelers. Mm-hmm. Just, he loved working on motors and vehicles, and he was the best. He was my baby.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened?
He was staying at a friend's house in Cabot, Arkansas. It was Lone Oak County Sheriff's was the one that pulled him over. He worked on his vehicle like most of the afternoon and half of the night, so he took it for a test drive, and it was like 3 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And the cop, I guess this is when he noticed him, his truck started smoking. So he started to head back to where his destination was, and the officer followed him, and he started to pull him over right before the house. So he just pulled into his destination, and the cop pulled in, no warning, got out and shot him over an antifreeze jug. That's how can you mistake an antifreeze jug for a gun? It's just not.
Or any weapon.
No.
Right, yeah.
There was no warning or anything, and there was a 15-year-old boy in the vehicle with him, and they drug him out of the vehicle, handcuffed him, put him in the back of the cop car for like 3 hours, mm-hmm. and would not let him see his parents or anybody. Mm-hmm. And that's completely just wrong. They're teenagers.
Yeah.
They should have asked. They should have, hey, what's going on? Do you need help? I saw your truck smoking back here. What, is there problems?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not just instantly get out and shoot him. And you cannot mistake an antifreeze jug for a gun.
Yeah.
There's no
How
way.
big would you say the jug was?
It was, I think, a 5-gallon. It was a big jug.
Yeah.
And he was trying to scotch his truck because it would not go into park. They were working on the transmission. Mm-hmm. And he got it out of the back of the truck whenever the cop pulled in behind him mm-hmm. to scotch his tire, and then that's when he shot him.
Yeah. How old was Hunter?
17.
Yeah.
He was a young adult, just starting his life, just starting his journey.
Yeah. Have you graduated high school yet?
No, he was going to graduate this year. It happened June 23rd of this year, and it's only just been a couple months. It's been very difficult, very hard. It's emotionally draining, and just mentally, it's a lot to handle. It's too much to handle, honestly.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit how it's impacted you and the community and your family?
Well, as far as I go, it's been tough. I've been depressed. I went through. At first, it did not hit me as hard, but as days went by, no phone calls from him, not hearing his voice, not being able to talk to him, not being able to hear "I love you." It just, the more it started to hit me, the more depressed I got. I couldn't get off the couch for a while. I cannot watch any kind of show that has any kind of shootings in it, like Law and Order, Dateline. I can't watch sad stuff. I have to have something happy. Mm-hmm. At first, though, I could sit there and watch TV, but I was just staring into it because my mind was racing. A million miles, and it just. I couldn't tell you what happened. I couldn't tell you what happened on the movie. I couldn't tell you even a sentence out of the movie.
Right.
And it's devastating.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about how your community has come together and sort of the things that you all have done?
I'm just now starting, I guess, on my own journey here. So this is really, I've been to a few protests at the Lone Oak County Sheriff's Office, and I've been to a protest in Little Rock at the Capitol. But the other side of the family was kind of handling all the business, I guess I could say. So I'm actually trying now to start on my own, trying to reach out and figure out what I can do to get involved, stay involved, and how I can help others, and how try to make some change. There needs to be better laws, better ways, better training. The officers need to be more choosy of who they hire. And it's just because you have a badge and a gun does not mean you go around shooting people. It's not fair, it's not right. You know, they should be held accountable, and they should have consequences, just like either one of us.
Exactly.
Because if we would have done it, we would have been sitting in jail waiting to go to court to even get sentenced, you know, to be proven guilty or not. And just because he has a badge, he has to run free, and that's not how it should be. They should be treated equally when it comes to something like this.
Exactly. So, yeah. Do you have any other children?
I have 2 other children. I have a 14-year-old boy named Dakota, and then I have a daughter named Mystic Brittain. So she's 19, and they grow up so fast. But I love them. And
could you talk a little bit about how this has impacted them?
They've taken it really, really hard. My daughter especially. My son, he lives out of state, so you know, I've talked to him and I sent him the photos, and he just broke down crying. He couldn't make it for the funeral, and it was just it's harder on him, I think, because he could not be here.
Yeah, and so young.
Yep. Yeah. So, and he misses his brother, you know, they talked, and when they were little, they used to fight all the time, like, you know, like brothers do, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the older they got, you know, the closer they started to get, and it's sad. Yeah. It's sad. That cop robbed us of him. That cop robbed him of his life, and
robbed you of your son. You know, so.
And it's not fair. It's not fair for a 17-year-old boy to have to be put in the ground over some stupid misunderstanding, or however you want to put it, because he should have helped him.
Yeah.
You protect and serve. Yeah. Yeah. And that was not protecting and serving. None whatsoever.
Yeah. Who would you say has shown up for you? You know, we talked a little about mental health and the trauma that you've experienced from going through this.
I ended up having to get a psychiatrist and a therapist. I talk to them once a week right now. We just started probably 2 weeks ago.
Good,
so it's not been long, but, you know, June wasn't, you know, far away, so.
Yeah, it just happened 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sessions has gone, I feel good about them. They've gone well so far. It's probably going to take some time to start to
see the progress.
Yeah, see the progress in it, and we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah.
I have to give you another update.
Yeah. I know that you were saying, you talked a little bit about the event. Of course, you know, there are too many details that are readily available because you're still going through the trial process with everything. But could you tell us a little bit about that sort of altercation between Hunter and the police officer? Was there any medical attention that your son received after that? And
now, as far as I know, the state police took over. As far as I know, he died before he got to the hospital. Because my daughter called me at like 3:30 in the morning, and she was like, "Your son, Hunter's been shot, Mama." She was crying, screaming. You could hear the other family in the background. And I said, "Okay, I'm getting dressed. I'm on my way up there." She calls me back not 2 minutes later and said, "Mama, he didn't make it." So I'm guessing from the in the ambulance, he
just passed away.
He was gone.
Yeah. And I know you said there was a friend in the car, a 15-year-old.
Yes.
Have you been able to speak with him, or?
Not since the funeral, I haven't.
Yeah. Did he say anything about his experience?
He posted on, I think it was Twitter, I saw it actually. He told his story. He didn't want to be in front of the camera, but he talked to I think THB, and told them exactly, you know, what happened. And like I said earlier, you know, they handcuffed him and put him in the back, pretty much drug him to the car, put him in the back left him for 3 hours before he could see anybody.
Wow.
So, and that's after he just saw his friend get shot.
Thank you.
How is that at all? I mean, you don't treat children that way. And they're still kids.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
that cop needs to be, he needs his badge taken away.
Yeah. And do you know the police officer's name?
Michael Davis.
Michael Davis.
Out of Lonoke County.
Out of Lonoke. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What would you say justice looks like for you in this situation?
him behind bars, to be honest. And to be able to change laws, hopefully like Hunter's Law or, you know, immunity, body cams needs to be on from beginning to end, you know. They need to have better training for sure. They need to make them, they need to be more qualified before they hire them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just simple as that, because if you don't have the techniques or the learning, then, I mean, you're not going to do your job properly.
Yeah.
So,
Is there anything that you know about the officer that shot Hunter, as far as his mental status, or, you know?
rumor had it that he had PTSD. So, I mean, I don't understand why you'd give a guy a gun when you have PTSD, because
And he
it's
hasn't
just-
healed from that, or
apparently,
you know,
apparently not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Could you? I know you mentioned Hunter's Law. Could you describe that a little bit more and tell us what that is? And
we're wanting immunity, and just pretty much the cams. The cameras need to be on from the time they go to work, until their shift ends. I mean, you know, it's for protection for us, and for the police officers.
Yeah.
You know, and situations like this right here would not be occurring as much, I would think not, because they would be held responsible, because they know that they would have to do their job right with a camera on at all times.
Right.
They can't get away with, oh, my cam was not on, because the camera was not on when my son got shot. They turned it on afterwards. So, and then they turned around, and the Lonoke County Sheriff, he did not want to have any, or he said that he did not want to have any knowledge of what was on the camera, or have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? But that's his officer.
Yeah.
So
what did that mean
I would
to you?
think, in my own, you know, I believe that if I was the sheriff and that was my deputy, I would investigate my own officer, because that's my department. You know what I mean? And they turned around and they said that they handed it over to the state police, but there was no video. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
At all. Because why would he go on TV and say
he doesn't want to see a video if there is no video?
But you know he saw it. You know he saw whatever. If he was innocent, then why didn't he just come out and say, hey, I'm innocent, you know? So.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want us to know about your son, or about his life?
The last time I saw him, the last memory I have is I tried to give him a kiss, and I was wrestling him down, because, you know, boys, they get older, they don't want kisses from their mamas. So I tried to wrestle him down, and I got my kiss on the cheek, of course, and I gave him a hug, and I told him I loved him. And he hugged me back and said, Mama, I love you.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I left and come home and talked to him a couple times, you know. And that day, actually, he got kicked out of his, well, that weekend that I went and saw him, his grandmother kicked him out of the house. And I told him, I said, you can come and live with me, you know. And he said, Mama, he said, I need to get my truck going. And I will, you know. Yeah. Because he was tired of having to go place to place.
Exactly.
But he just did not want to be way out there going to BB school, and he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, he wanted a way around before he come out there and stayed.
Yeah, he wanted the car to be fixed.
Yes, he wanted that truck to be.
Yeah. And while he was doing that, you know, his life was taken. Yeah. How can we honor Hunter and continue to show up for you and your family?
Just by keeping it alive and trying to fight for change. It's going to take every one of us to do it, and it's for all. It's everybody. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of families I didn't realize how much and how big this organization, this community. I didn't know how big, much that this happens in the community. And I just think that we all got to come together, and we've got to fight for change. And hopefully get some laws changed and keep their
have some accountability.
Yes, and have some accountability, and I mean, just keep the memory, I guess, alive. Until you got to get justice. You have to have justice. No peace. You won't have no peace until you get justice.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Well, thank you for your time, thank you for sitting down and talking with me today. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate your bravery and your strength coming out here and sharing your story and Hunter's story with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
My baby, we at the hotel.